you're about to step into, or you're in the process, you're in transition of
Yes.
stepping into the transitional chief executive of Rockgas, which is a division of Contact Energy. If you were your wise advocate, which you are, and you were to give yourself a piece of advice on how to successfully navigate this transition, and particularly in the next first 3 months, what advice would you give to yourself and to anyone else who's going, you know, stepping into that new role?
Yeah, well, and it's a temporary role, right? So it's for about 6 months or so. But we've sold our LPG business, and so the role involves, you know, running that business day to day, but also leading the transition to the new owner, which requires a whole lot of activity in of itself. And so I'd say put people first, because it's a transition and it's a change. How people are feeling is really important. We're setting up, you know, some channels that they can kind of talk to us around what's frustrating you, what are we doing well that we shouldn't break. The other thing I would say is be a good servant. So I see in this role I've got 3 masters really. I've got the new owner who want me to run the business in a way that, you know, we hand it over in a fit state, which is why they bought it in the first place. I've got the people of LPG, Rockgas, who need to be engaged and energised and you know, be supported to run the business. And then I've got Dennis and our board of directors, right, who have just done this amazing transaction and want me to lead the transition really well. You know, don't stuff it up, Tania. So
no pressure.
Yeah.
So 3 masters, really,
3
in many
masters,
ways.
yeah, which is, and I'm kind of, you know, it's not about me. It's about me doing the best to serve those 3 masters. So the other bit is asking for help. So I've almost gone back to when I was in the health and safety role, a sort of area where I don't have a lot of experience. I've got a lot of experience in leading people and in HR and in culture change, but this has got a big P&L, you know, there's a whole lot of assets. It's spread from Northland down to Invercargill. You know, there's a lot of risk. The supply and distribution of LPG is deeply complicated. So trying to get my head around all of that has taken me back to my, you know, my inner child of, oh, what if I stuff this up? And I've been really conscious of asking for help, and people are really, you know, it's that line that I tread, right, of wanting to prove myself, I can do this, versus asking for help. Yeah. Because people want to help and I need help. Yeah. And people have been incredibly supportive.
That's come up a couple of times in our interview, this wise piece of advice of actually asking for help, because we don't have to do it all on our own.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really valuable piece of advice to any leader is, you know, who's your support crew? Who are your mentors?
Yeah.
What resources do I have at my fingertips that perhaps I'm not tapping into that I could do?
Yeah.